We are trapped in an underwater facility surrounded by the mist. Atlantis is real, and it is not what you think it is. Written by ItsMeRoyale. We are currently trapped in a covert underwater facility miles under sea level. Our location has been compromised by the mist. Two of my coworkers have attempted to contact the rescue team as I type this transcript out, in the hope that people out there will see this. You might be wondering how I walked into this dreadful situation. I was promoted as a field agent after attending an internship at a company called Cryptech Corporations. I was then assigned to an exploration group on my first project, codenamed Atlantis. I was very skeptical at first, but when they showed me the seismic data and the coordinates, my heart excitedly skipped a beat. I was a fan of the outdoors, and when I realized that this would be my sole opportunity to uncover a location deemed as a myth within the walls of history, I decided to take the chance. Following many hours of travel by boat, we arrived at the underwater station hidden skillfully under a mini oil rig to obtain our gear, and then embarked on the way to the coordinates of Atlantis. My expedition group consisted of Tim and Drake, divers who passed the same programs I had gone through. At the launch site, once the briefing had finished, we prepared for descent while the command group attached a filament line to the submarine. The tech sub was capable of withstanding very high pressure, courtesy of the privately funded institute. Within a few minutes, we had swiftly descended into the depths while I made sure that the attached tether held up. The strength of the sunbeams deteriorated as we descended further, but we knew that there would be just enough left to accurately view our surroundings. I guided the sub towards the altitude coordinates, and before long, Atlantis emerged into view. I half expected the city to be full of colors, with towering structures that depicted its lost inhabitants, though what sat in front of me resembled more of a shipwreck on a large scale. Plant life plagued every corner of the seafloor, and barely visible, dilapidated buildings were scattered in a circular formation surrounding a significantly sized, fallen mortar head that sat upright in the sand, its mouth hanging open. We all cheered and congratulated each other before Tim and Drake exited the sub with their special scuba gear. My suit's pressure valve did not function properly for some reason, and someone had to man the sub anyway, so I stayed behind to monitor communications and gather data with the built-in machinery. Moments later, I saw Tim split up to examine some of the exterior buildings, while Drake swam to the mouth of the statue. Both of them had cameras imprinted into their suits, and their first-person perspectives appeared on my station panel. Minutes later, they both faded out of sight. Tim's voice then came over the comms.
Delta 1 has arrived at the statue's mouth, turning flashlight on. It seems to stretch back quite far. I'm heading in to examine. Over.
Copy that, Delta 1. I relayed the info to Control and eyed the visuals. I witnessed him edging his way into the tunnel, the flashlight hovering over the countless crevices as bubbles floated away with every breath release. So far, no sign of life. Delta 2, what about you?
I don't see anything significant, Alpha Sub. Most of the buildings here are completely barren or caved in. There are some markings on the walls, but they are indecipherable. I'll check the other ones.
Roger that, Delta 2. Keep searching. You guys are doing well. Like Drake had reported, I saw the markings through his perspective, embedded into the wall of one of the structures. Although most of it was impossible to understand, the last part of the symbols depicted a human-like figure throwing a trident at numerous ovals. A plethora of carved squiggles emanated from the elongated objects, and I pondered what they may have stood for. As if to answer my thought, Tim's muted voice came on the comms again.
This is Delta 1. You need to see this, Alpha Sub.
I stared at Tim's POV, and my eyes went wide. Tim hovered still. Surrounding him on every side were glowing orbs, all protruding out of enormous fissures in a magnificent canyon landscape. They were lined in various intricate formations, but they all led up to the center of the long valley, towards a bright source of light in the distance that I could not perceive due to the camera's murky quality. I've never seen anything like this in my life, Delta 1. I'm speechless. We definitely have to show this to Control. All these orbs, they remind me of... I stopped mid-sentence. The realization had hit me square in the face. These were not orbs. No, these were eggs. My mind flashed back to the markings Drake had momentarily shown me. Delta 1, you need to get out of there. Get back to the sub, now.
Roger, Alpha Sub. What's going on?
Those are eggs, Delta 1. They coincide with markings Delta 2 stumbled upon near the buildings. I'll explain it in detail, but you need to return ASAP. I switched over to Drake's comms. Delta 2, evacuate the area. You may be in danger. Over. Drake's response was an ear-piercing clatter of static. Delta 2, this is Alpha Sub. Please respond. Drake, can you hear me? I looked at his visual. I could tell he was moving, but the screen was evolving into a distorted mess. I looked at his suit data, noticing a critical damage icon near the camera symbol. Drake, if you can hear me, please get back to the sub now. Just when I had finished with my late warning, Drake's screen instantly went blank, all the functions of his suit flashing red, accompanied by several beeps. Drake? Delta 2? Respond, Delta 2. I was met with complete silence, save for the echo of the static. Delta 1, are you almost back? I've lost all contact with Delta 2. His worrying tone answered almost immediately.
Almost there, Alpha.
My heart raced as I struggled to re-establish the connection with Drake. All my efforts were futile, so I quickly relayed the grave news back to the control group. They advised me to initiate the sub for resurfacing and to secure Tim on board. They seemed even more nervous. I established the panel commands and surveyed the surroundings to see Tim swimming toward me yards away, a flurry of bubbles surging past him due to heavy inhalation. I have visual, Tim. Coming to you. I directed the sub forward, the contraption igniting to life, and steered it towards Tim. I was beginning to feel a small sense of relief the closer I approached him, knowing that he would at least be alright. But Tim never reached the sub in time. A sudden wave of dark mist struck into him from the side. Whatever was in it moved at a speed I could not comprehend, screeching violently in the process. The creature, which I could vaguely discern, appeared to be about 6 feet long and utilized the mist as its facade. Spiny, sharp legs slashed through the haze, but quickly retracted into the fog before flickering away. The tainted smog encompassed him for some brief seconds before it altered into an ominous shade of red. Once it dissipated fully, I saw his body floating lifelessly in its place, his mask filling up with a mixture of blood and water. His oxygen tube had been shattered open, and a crater the diameter of a log rested on his chest, spilling all of his shredded inwards out. I dry heaved at the drifting carnage, a sight that I may never be able to cleanse from memory. In my panic, I managed to sputter a few words back to the control center. The line attached to the sub went rigid and hauled the machine to the surface. I stared forward in severe shock, not solely at Tim's body, but at the armada of moving mist that began to grow behind him. We rushed back to the facility, oblivious of the fact that the creatures had followed us. The mist has blocked all of the windows now, and I cannot help but notice that the reinforced glass has started to crack. We had enough time to report to Mission Control, and we are unsure how far the rescue team is from our location. The lights have flickered on and off several times, and the screeches from outside have gotten louder, angrier. These creatures want in, and they sound relentless. I have uploaded this post to all of the online databases. The other workers have suggested operating one of the backup vessels to outrun the horde. That may be our only chance. To whoever is reading this transcript, please do not search for Atlantis. It is most certainly not what you think it is, because whatever is breeding down there is the true origin of that entire city's demise. And we somehow pissed it off. Okay. Thank you all for listening. I hope you enjoyed tonight's episode, and please subscribe or follow for more. The open sea and the deep sea has always creeped me the hell out, so I love stories like that. So huge props to the author for writing an amazing one. If you'd like to support this channel, I would really appreciate it if you would check out my Patreon link in the description or the merch store as well. And feel free to follow me on Twitter at ClancyPasta. And I will talk to you all later. Have a good night, everybody. Cheers.